Have you ever spent all day hiking in the perfect habitat looking for snakes and not found anything at all? If so, this video is going to save you a lot of frustration. Well, finding snakes is not about luck. It's about understanding the right conditions, the right timing, and the right places to look. In the next few minutes, we're going to be talking about the exact conditions that experienced herpers and herpetologists use to dramatically increase their chances of finding snakes. These tips work for them, and they'll work for you. And by the end of this video, you'll know the strategies that you need to find snakes consistently in the wild. The first rule is to stop looking when snakes aren't out. It sounds simple, but it makes all the difference in the world. To consistently find snakes in the wild, you have to be looking for them at the right time of day, the right time of year, during the right weather conditions, and at the right temperatures. Skipping even a single one of these points could leave you finding no snakes at all. There are 5 things that you consistently have to have right if you want to find snakes. The first is habitat. You need to be looking for the snakes in the types of areas where they live. Second, you have to be looking for them when it's the right temperature, or where they are, or look for them where the temperatures are right. And the third is the right weather pattern. Some snakes are going to be active when it's hot and dry. Others will only be out when it's cool and cloudy. Next, you have to look for them at the right time of year, or know where they would be located at the time of year when you're looking. Next is the time of day. You need to know the right time of day to find the snake you're looking for. When you're out in the wild, instead of asking, "Where are the snakes?" you should be asking, "Where do the snakes want to be right now?" Just changing that mindset alone will make you a better herper. Where the snakes want to be right now can depend on all of these factors. For example, if it's too hot outside, the snakes might want to wait until after dark to come out. They may retreat inside of a rodent burrow and wait until the temperatures are cooler. If it's close to the winter or the spring, they may be heading towards or emerging from their point of hibernation. We're going to go ahead now and talk about some strategies or some methods of finding snakes. The first is road cruising. If I had to pick the one simplest way to find the largest number of snakes with the least amount of knowledge and skill, it would be road cruising. For most people, road cruising is the easiest way to find snakes. And once you know the basics and have a knack for it, you're going to be finding tons of snakes. One of the reasons why road cruising works so well is because the pavement retains heat. The roadways absorb the warmth of the sun throughout the day, and when it cools down at night, the roads take longer to cool down. Snakes who are crossing roadways encounter the warmth and will often stay there basking to enjoy and use the warmth. Sitting in a moving vehicle with bright lights on an open roadway makes it very easy to see the snakes, and you can cover a lot of ground in a short period of time. This is what makes road cruising so easy and so effective. But road cruising is not limited to paved roads. Dirt roads can often get you into better habitat than paved roads can. The snakes that live along the side of paved highways suffer from higher road mortality, while it's easier to find dirt roads that have little traffic. The snakes on the dirt roads might not be out to bask for the warmth, but you can still find them crossing the road while they're performing their normal life activities like hunting, breeding, or just moving from one spot to another. And sometimes, depending on what snake you're looking for, there may be few paved roads that even pass through the right habitat. So learning to road cruise on dirt roads gives you a lot more options. When you're road cruising, you may want to experiment with different speeds. Start off at a slow speed, maybe 15 to 25 miles per hour, and experiment that. See if you can go up to 35. Try going up to 35 and see if that still works for you. Pick the speed that works best for you. The speed will also determine on what size snake you're looking for. You can travel faster if you're looking for large rattlesnakes than if you're looking for small black-headed snakes. Probably handy to bring a temperature gun with you so you can measure the temperature of the road and the temperature off-road. Roads can absorb a lot of heat, especially during the summertime. If you're measuring the road temperature and seeing that it's 110 degrees, chances are that you're not going to find snakes basking on the roadways. Pay attention also to the air temperatures. Different snakes like different temperatures, and so it's hard for me to tell you exactly what temperatures to hunt at, but a general rule of thumb is somewhere between 65 degrees and about 95 degrees. When you do find snakes, it would be a good idea to write down what the temperature was that you found them at for future reference. When you're road cruising, you want to look for snakes that are stretched out across the roadway, but also snakes that are on the shoulder. Sometimes you can even see snakes that are off the road in the dirt portion of the shoulder. Also keep an eye out for snakes that might be basking along the side of the road, like this one. You'll probably find that some snakes are less likely to be active when you're road cruising at night if there's a bright moon. Pay attention to the phase of the moon and its position in the sky. For most species, looking for them on a new moon or a time where the moon is not in the sky is going to give you better luck. Make sure that when you're road cruising, you're prioritizing safety. Some roads are just too narrow and too windy to safely cruise for snakes. You have to be aware of the minimum speed limits. Watch for other cars, pull off on the side of the road, and be careful when turning around. If you miss a snake, that's okay, there'll be more, but you have to fully be aware of your surroundings, both for your safety and for the safety of other drivers. If you can't safely road cruise on a road that you're on, look for a different road. You can find roads with little to no traffic, or at least roads that have little to no traffic at night. If you can't find a road that's safe to road hunt, you should try looking for dirt roads or try hiking. The next tip that I'm going to give you is going to help you find lots of snakes during the day. The next method that I want to talk about for finding snakes is flipping. When I say flipping, I'm talking about flipping rocks, logs, pieces of bark, boards, plywood, and even mattresses and trash. I've even found snakes under cow pies, but I don't suggest flipping those with your bare hands. Snakes are secretive. They aren't often out in the open. Many snakes spend a lot of time hiding underneath objects, and that's why this method can work so well. Typically, when flipping, you'll want to do it during the daytime. Snakes can be found under the objects that you're flipping for cover, for safety, to be able to bask at the right temperatures, or even as a place to hide while they're hunting. Try different size rocks, or rocks that are close to different things. You may want to try rocks that are close to a wash, that are close to larger rock piles, that are out in the sun, or even that are near certain types of plants. Usually, you want to look for rocks that are flat and that aren't buried in the ground. Rocks that a snake could easily slither underneath. Temperature and rainfall can be important when rock flipping. Rock flipping is usually going to be better during time periods when there's been sufficient rain. You probably don't want to go when the ground is wet and muddy, but if it's been a long time since it's rained, you're not going to have as much luck rock flipping. Pay attention to the temperatures also. Rocks can warm up fast. Bring a temperature gun. Measure the temperature of the top of the rocks, measure the temperature in the shade, and measure the temperature underneath the rocks. Probably what you'll find is that depending on how long the sun has been on the rocks, you may find that the top of the rock is too hot and the bottom of the rock is just right. It's important when you are flipping rocks and logs to put them back where they were or as they were when you flipped them, so that whatever does use those rocks can come back to the same place that it's normally been used to. When you're rock flipping, you've got to be really careful where you're putting your hands. You want to make sure that you can see where you're putting your hands so you're not accidentally going to get bit by a venomous snake. You don't want to get bit by a venomous snake, stung by bees, stung by a scorpion, or bitten by some other small animal. Some people use gloves for extra safety, and others will use some sort of utensil to help them flip, like a potato rake, a hammer, or some other similar object. It's usually a good idea to lift the rock so that it is away from you, so that whatever snake is underneath doesn't come straight at you. You don't want to flip a rock and find a rattlesnake only has one direction to flee, right towards you. This next method that I'm about to tell you on how to find snakes will literally open up limitless opportunities for finding snakes. So let's talk about hiking. You can hike for snakes during the day or at night, depending on the time of year and the temperature. You'll have to experiment with how fast to hike. Many people hike too quickly, and they miss seeing the snakes as they're walking past them. Carefully scan the area as you're hiking. You can look along the edge of the trail, at the bases of rocks, along the edges of washes and creeks, or near animal and rodent burrows. It really depends where you are and what time of year it is. In the southwestern United States, in the summertime, it's usually always going to be too hot to hike for snakes during the day. You'll want to hike very early in the morning, in the late afternoon, or at night. If you're hiking at night, you want to make sure you have a very bright light and a backup light. Make sure you know the area well. An area that you don't know well, you can easily get lost at night. When you go hiking, make sure you go with a friend. Carefully pay attention to where you're putting your feet as you're hiking. The next tip I want to give you is season and elevation. Some part of the country get seasonal monsoons or seasonal rains. These summer rains can really bring out snakes in the dry, arid portions of the southwest United States. The snakes might come out on the night that it rains, but more frequently, they would be out a night or two after a good rain. Next, let's talk about elevation. One of the tricks that you can use is to hunt in an area that gives you lots of different elevation options. If you can find a road that goes from the bottom of a mountain to the top of a mountain, it becomes much easier to find an area with the right temperatures. If the temperatures are too hot during the day, you can start off by road cruising in the higher elevations in the cooler temperatures. And as the night progresses, as the higher elevations get too cold, you can start hunting lower down the mountain. That way you can maximize your hunting in the right temperature zones. If you find yourself having problems finding snakes, always go back to these basics. Ask yourself, am I looking at the right temperature? Am I looking in the right habitat? Is it the right time of year for the snake that I'm looking for? Is the snake that I'm looking for one that would be out during the daytime, or is it a nocturnal snake? Am I looking for the snake during the right weather conditions? Is it too dry? Is it too hot? Or is it too wet? The answers to these questions, of course, are going to depend on what type of snake you're looking for. So you're going to have to do some research on the snake that you want to find. Sometimes this information might be difficult to find, and you may have to talk to other herpers who have already found the same type of snake that you're hoping to see. If you don't have any other options, then you should just try different conditions. Once you finally find the snake, take notes. Write down the time of year, the date, the time of day, and any other observations that you can make. After a while, you'll be able to find a pattern on how to find that particular type of snake, and it will become easier and easier for you. Finding snakes is a skill, and like any skill, the more you practice it, the better you become. If you'd like more herping tips, or you'd like to watch some of my herping adventures, please subscribe to the channel. If you have a question or an observation about herping, go ahead and post it down in the comments below.